Hi there guys, and welcome back to another episode of the Beard Necessities here on the Facial Fuzz. My name is Adam, and in today's episode I'm going to be talking to you about how long does it take for Vellus to turn terminal.
Yo, I done 6 shows in a row, so my voice is hurting. Fans wanna hear Woy Oi in person. Woy Oi. She want a man from Brum, but she settled with a boy from Burton. I still see feds on the block, still see the boy them lurking.
Okay, first things first, I'm not going to be going into great detail about the differences between vellus and terminal hair because Sam from Beardology has already done a really great video on that, so I do suggest you check that out, it's in the description. So how long does it take for a vellus hair to become a terminal hair? Now this is a question we get really regularly on the Minox Beard Spot, and it's one, quite frankly, with no definitive answer. Anybody out there telling you it will take a very specific amount of time is talking nonsense. Now there's one particular proponent of this, and that is Spanish Beard. Now I often show my disdain for the things he says, and I'll call him on it outright, to be honest with you. He has an idea of dependency, so anything after 6 months you become dependent on Minox. It's a myth, it's a lie. He's fabricated it himself so he can sell his bullshit beard products like beard powder. There'll be a video in the description as well discrediting beard powder for any of you that have not yet seen that. It's very kind of dangerous, in my opinion, to allocate an arbitrary number to how long it's going to take. But what we do know typically is that it takes anywhere between 6 months and 12 months, if not longer, for a vellus hair to turn terminal. Does that mean they're all going to turn terminal at the same time? Well, no, because each of your follicles, each of them are independent, so they'll mature at different rates. Sometimes you do have instances of, drastic shedding where some may start to mature at the same time. So you do also get people that have a slow shed where their follicles mature at a different rate, each of them, and then theirs obviously appears slower in terms of that progress to terminal. And we do need to bear in mind that 6 month kind of thing we put on there, in my opinion, that is very rare. We very rarely see people who hit 6 months and everything is terminal. Now, something I want to clarify from the very beginning is it isn't actually the minoxidil that is maturing your follicles. It's a hormone called dihydrotestosterone. Now, that's not to say the minoxidil doesn't help. In fact, minoxidil is the reason that dihydrotestosterone is getting to the follicle, because it's a vasodilator. It's bringing more blood and nutrients and therefore DHT to bind to your androgen receptors, which we'll talk about later on in this video. Now, there's actually 3 things that are perhaps going to slow down your maturation rate, and they are: 1, levels of dihydrotestosterone in your body; 2, that's also going to be how sensitive you are to dihydrotestosterone; and 3, the amount of androgen receptors that you have in each follicle. So DHT is converted from testosterone by an enzyme called 5-alpha reductase, and it converts around about 5% of your free testosterone each month into dihydrotestosterone. So theoretically speaking, the lower your dihydrotestosterone levels, the slower your maturation and general growth rate of your facial hair will be. So let's consider the last 2 points together because they make sense as a group. And the first being your sensitivity to dihydrotestosterone, and the second being the number of androgen receptors that you actually have in your follicles. Let's look first at androgen receptors. So androgen receptors are found in your hair follicles, so not only ones on your face but also on your scalp, and they essentially are what DHT binds to and has an affinity for in order to cause that hair to grow from your face. And in the case of your scalp, if you're genetically predisposed and have a genetic sensitivity to normal levels of dihydrotestosterone, that's where you start getting male pattern baldness. So the two are somewhat related, but you do see men with full heads of hair and full beards. This is likely because their facial follicles are more sensitive to dihydrotestosterone and their scalp not being so. And you also see it the other way around with men completely bald with no facial hair. So it's really a lottery based on your genetics. There's nothing you can do about the amount of androgen receptors or how sensitive they are to normal levels of dihydrotestosterone. That brings me on to the last point, which was about how sensitive you are to normal levels of dihydrotestosterone. And that is something, unfortunately, I don't have the answer for you. Everybody is different at the end of the day. We're all going to experience this journey in very different ways. And in terms of how sensitive your body is to that, that's really dependent on the number of androgen receptors you have and also your genetics. So whilst we are somewhat circumnavigating genetics by doing this kind of experiment on ourselves, we can't completely nullify the effects of genetics on facial hair growth. So let me just quantify that. So you're circumnavigating genetics because you may already have the androgen receptors there, but they haven't been triggered, so you're using minoxidil to trigger them. If you don't have androgen receptors there, then the product quite likely is not going to work for you whatsoever. And the number that you have androgen receptors and how sensitive they are is what's going to help with the actual maturation process, how long it's going to take you, and only your body can dictate that. Nobody can actually tell you how long that's going to take. Okay guys, so let's look at 3 things that you can do that can help you on your journey. Okay, so number 1 is physical exercise. Now I know a lot of people are going to cringe at that word, but it is something that's going to help boost your natural DHT levels, and you may want to supplement with something like creatine that is proven to raise them quite substantially, or you may just wish to go it alone with just physical exercise. Things like lifting heavy weights and sprinting quickly are things that are going to help with that process. Now the next one is patience. You're going to need patience in abundance because it will happen over time, but it's just going to take time. I see too many people, and I've been guilty of this as well, trying to rush, trying to speed up the process. It is a journey. And lastly guys, it's another P, it's perseverance. You are going to really have to persevere in this journey if you want to reach your goal. Have a goal in mind and work towards it. It's not going to help if you just quit early because you're not seeing the results you're expecting to see. I've seen people talk about quitting after 3 weeks, which is ridiculous, quite frankly, because that is such a short period of time. Even 3 months, very, very short period of time, you're going to start seeing the first stages of development around that point. You've really got to have perseverance. As I say, it's a tiresome journey. You're going to get, to the point where you're a bit sick of it, and you're going to want to quit. But I would recommend that you keep going if it's something that you really, really want. Okay guys, so thanks very much for watching this video. If you did like this video, then please do hit the like button. If you want to keep up to date with more videos like this and also my journey videos, then please do hit that subscribe button. And if you have any questions, comments, queries or suggestions, please feel free to drop a comment in the comments box below. Don't forget to check out Sam's video on Vellus and Terminal hairs if you haven't had a clue what I've been talking about. And I'll see you guys again next time.
Blue tick, but I got one on the top that gave me.
I don't even know what's real.